Welcome to the top 5 buys for the week ending February 21st, 2021. Hi, I'm Mikey, and this is Comics by the Cover. If you're new to the channel, I first wanted to say thank you. I appreciate you being able to find me. If you are returning to the channel, I want to say thank you as well. You're super awesome. You're the best. This is a new video series that I'm starting where I am exploring the top 5 buy books based on the Key Collector's Trending 20. Again, this is spun off from the Buyer Pass Report. I decided to look at the books that are trending as buys based on the polls, and that is the basis of this new video series. Again, it is new, so I'm still trying to work things out, but we'll see how that works out in the long run, right? Again, the purpose of this video is to kind of give you some insight on these books and give you a feel for the broader market and interest in these books to see if it's something that you might or may not want to be interested in buying based on other people's opinions of this being a book that they want to buy. When I kind of go through this process of what books that I personally want to buy, this kind of video kind of helps gives the basis of the way I think when I'm buying books. I get a feel for what other people are buying, and then I kind of usually try to dig a little deeper into those books and see if those trending books might impact other books. So that's why when you see me doing these videos, I say, oh, this might be a direction you want to go or so forth, because in my mind, that's the way I think. If this book is hot, might it have an impact on another book? So when I do those, that's why those are there, those spec plays. So you'll see that in this video as well. With that said, starting this list, we have Avengers number 40. I'm only listing this book because there are 2 books that tied. So it kind of made the top 5 awkward because I didn't know when a book ties, do you just not have a spot, or do you put both those spots in there? So this is actually a top 6 list, so surprise, plot twist. So I opted to go ahead and get this book in here because of that thought process. This book pulled, again, like I said, 60-40. We went over this book in the last videos for the Buyer Pass Report, so I'm not going to go too much deep in there. But it did get me thinking. Between this book and the first appearance of Chthon, it got me asking this poll currently on my Instagram, and that is, what do you consider a first appearance when it comes down to these ambiguous appearances? When a character is in an ethereal form, such as like a cloud or a mist, or if they're in an ambiguous form, such as if they're a shapeshifter, like Copycat's appearance before Domino, or like when they classify Mystique's first cameo appearance, she's not really Mystique as we know her in the blue scan. She's in shapeshifted form. It got me, or like with Chthon, like I said, his first few appearances, he appeared as like a smoke, and then in Marvel Chillers number 2, he gets a face in the book. He has the face on the cover of Marvel Chillers number 1, the Cloud, but then in number 2, he's the Cloud with the face in the book and on the cover. And then he's in possession form with Wanda in 186, Avengers 186, and then in Avengers 187, you actually see him in his corporeal form. And so it had me questioning, which is the most important appearance. And according to and then again with this book with Varanki, she was in shapeshifted form as Jessica Drew through much of the New Avengers run, and it wasn't until this issue that she revealed herself as her true identity. So what is the preferred first appearance? That's why I got me asking that question. As you can see where this poll is currently standing at the time of the editing of this video, it looks like B is the preferred option. So most people rather have the final corporeal form. So when it comes down to Chthon, if we're going to go that route, then I will say your best bet is now Avengers 187 when we actually see him in his more corporeal form. He only makes a lot of guest appearances. Again, I don't understand why this spec is so hot, but I did buy the Mordred number 1 in the past recently from an Instagram seller just because it was such a cheap thought, and I didn't really do much heavy investigating because it was such a cheap book at the time. So going on with the list, we have like I said, this is a tie for the number 4 spot. I figured the first one we'll go over is Last Ronin. As you can see, this is the Sophie Campbell variant. This currently is polling at a 62-38 plot twist. The next one is also a 62-38 poll. This book started to trend, because obviously Last Ronin is a very hot series. The Turtle books have been really popular in the past year, so you see that trend. The one thing I will point out for this is, personally, I prefer cover A. and there was noted a lot of damaged books for shipment. So I would assume that mostly would have impacted cover A versus these variant issues. As you can see, there are a ton of variant issues right here for this. So over 11, it looks like, or 10 or 11 books right here. So I personally would think that, cover A might be the better choice when it comes down to buying this book. Again, this pulled in at $62.38. So it is something that people are interested in buying. If you haven't added this to your pool list, it's easy to do so. Just go ahead and get it added for this series. I don't believe it being a long series. I think it is a limited series, but correct me if I'm wrong on that one. So also coming in now at number 4, we have is as a buy was Forever People number 1. This also pulled 62% people said they were interested in buying this book, with 38% of the people saying that they're going to pass on this. This is the first appearance of Darkseid. From the DC universe. Again, I'm not a huge DC person. I'm more of a Marvel person. So if I get things wrong, correct me. I don't mind. But this is surprising. I looked up the raw sales for this. This book only averages a little over $100 raw. And when you think about that in comparison to Thanos, who made his appearance in Iron Man number 55, that book sells for around $600. So this book could be seriously undervalued, I would say. And it could be a book that, it would be worth picking up if you can find it for a good price and a pretty decent grade. Even if you don't find it in a not so decent grade, it could be a good book to pick up for you. Now, there is some, purists when it comes down to appearances, and when you look at that, in Forever People number 1, he clearly makes a nice, good, full appearance, whereas he does make a couple earlier appearances in Superman's pals Jimmy Olsen, issues number 134 and 135. I'll put the little cameo appearances that you can see here. Again, these are just, first one is just a single panel, and then you get a couple panels on the next one with a little bit of dialogue there. And this book, again, had pulled because of the Justice League Snyder Cut. There was another book on the list that did make the buy list where people were interested in buying, and that was Mr. Miracle number 2. So that for the first appearance of Granny Goodness. I personally loved her in the Harley Quinn cartoon series. I thought it was so funny. She was so funny in that. So that could be another option for you if you are continuing wanting to go down this route of DC books. And I'll list that price for you here and what that book averages for. Coming in at number 3 on the list for buys was Star Wars number 1. This is the Walmart pack. This is was polling 73.27. If you go onto the Key Collector app, they actually do have a section for you that you can scroll through and find the Walmart listings of books. It could be helpful if you're out there trying to find some of these variants. If you are ever in Walmart and you are looking for these books, they are typically kept at the front of the store near the other collectibles such as Pokemon cards, baseball cards, and so forth. I will just let you know, not every Walmart carries these comic variants. Typically, if a store has high shoplifting when it comes down to baseball cards and collectibles, they may not carry this section, and apparently that is a high theft area for a lot of stores, so they opt not to carry these. They are supposedly stocked by a third-party vendor, not by Walmart themselves or Walmart employees, so stocking schedules may be more random, where one store may get them one week. It doesn't mean every store is going to get them that week. Another store may get them another week or so forth. But generally within the first few weeks of the initial drop, the other stores start to carry those books. So check back at your stores often if you are interested in wanting to get these. The other thing I would point out for this book is I did ask the poll of whether or not Star Wars books were cooling off. And the reason why is because I like to attend a lot of online auctions when it comes down to Instagram. Initially, when Star Wars was getting super hot in the late 2020, people were buying these books. They were just buying every Star Wars book as it was listed on an auction. And then I noticed that when I was in auction rooms, a lot of the books would not sell. They would just kind of go flat, even if they were like early Dark Horse books or early Marvel books, they would just go flat. So that had me asking the question, is Star Wars kind of cooling off? When we look at the polls on some of these other Star Wars books that we did that had hit the list recently, that had major first appearances, we have Vader here, which was 82.18, so that was a pretty strong buy. Canon, The Last Padawan, had a strong buy at 75.25. But then we start looking at some of these other High Republic books. The issue number 2 pulled around 69.30, which was kind of on par with the cooling off period, and then the second print for issue number 1 also had about a 59-41 split on that one. So to see this variant hit 73, it falls in line with some of the previous Star Wars books, but I would just be cautious about overpaying for this book. There were a ton of the first print variants that were out there. I know this book is a nice cover, I will say, for this variant, but a lot of these Walmart books do experience some damage. I have purchased many Walmart books, and sometimes spine ticks can exist. They do a pretty good job, I would say, in packing them, but oftentimes when they're in their little box, they will flop over, which may cause some spine ticks around the center point of the spine. So coming in at number 2 on the list, we have the Batman movie book. This book started trending because in July, I believe, of 2021, so July of this year, they're looking to launch Batman 89, which will be the continuation of the Tim Burton story of Batman. I am super excited for this, to be honest with you. Like I said, even though I'm not a huge DC person, I do like Batman. He is one of my favorite characters, but it might be because that seems like that's all DC pushes you. DC's like, here's 5 Batman books in any given month. So the one thing I also will say about this book is it does have another variant option for you that you may want to be interested in. I couldn't find much information or on this variant, but apparently it does exist. I would also point out that in line with this new story, they are looking to tie up the Catwoman ending in Batman Returns, so that might be another book that you might want to look out for if you're looking to bank on the Batman 1989 series. Plus, you should really just buy this book because Batman Returns is the best movie ever.
Fight!
I say that all the time. I'm a big Catwoman fan. Here's my little Catwoman Funko Pop. She comes with me when I open my boxes because she provides me the best luck in the world. The other thing I will say for Batman 1989 is the other movies that aren't considered in Tim Burton canon. So when you see some of those other books for like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, I probably want to look at getting those movie adaptation books only because they don't technically fall in line with the Tim Burton films. Just the two do, Batman 1989 and then of course Batman Returns. So again, finally coming in at number 1 was the New Avengers number 7. Again, this is a super hot book. This book is the first appearance of the Illuminati, again, which is this collection of the greatest minds. You have Professor X, you have Iron Man, you have Black Bolt, you have Namor, you have Mr. Fantastic. All of those first appearances are very expensive, so we're not going to really talk about those books because in my mind the best spec is cheap spec. So if you can get it for a good price, that's usually the direction I rather go. However, when you are looking at this book, again, it is a super hot book. This book has had several spikes in sales in the past couple of years. So this book first kind of spiked in early spring of 2019. It spiked again in January of 2020. And then again in July of 2020, that of course carried over into August and September of 2020, and then most recently it spiked again in this early part of 2021. So this is a book that people are just top of mind for people. People are out there looking for this book and are wanting to buy this book. So I will say, if you see it, go out there and grab it. I do want to make a correction to my last video. I stated that the variant issue sells for less. That was all on me. I didn't do my research on that one. I was basing it on the fact that I recently found that book for like $5 in a back bin. So again, I can't stress enough. Search your back bins. Someone pointed out that they probably confused it for being the Avengers 7 book. They may have thought it was just a Century book and threw it in the back bin. He's probably very accurate. Because if you look at the cover, it doesn't read as a New Avengers book. I only knew it because when I went to go log, I thought it was a cool cover. So when I went to go log it in my CLZ app and it came up as that, I was like, oh, that's surprising. Because I am a big cover buyer. So when I go through dollar bins or back bins, if I find a cover that I really like, I will oftentimes grab it. The couple things I want to point out for this book is, again, this concept of the Illuminati appearing in the MCU is really, I don't know why it's trending so heavy. Again, most of these characters have yet to appear into the MCU universe. The only thing I could think about of why this book may trend is because of the Illuminati's involvement in the Secret Wars, and there's a lot of speculation that the Secret Wars of 2015 is going to be the storyline that we get for the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the introduction of Doom. That got me thinking, okay, well, if if that is the case, let's say we are building towards Secret Wars 2015 in the MCU, what books might I want to consider, and how might that play out? Well, the first thing to understand is the Infinity Gauntlet does have a play in the Secret Wars 2015 when Doom takes control of the Infinity Gauntlet. So you might want to revisit Silver Surfer number 44. This book trended hot in 2018, I believe, right before the Infinity Gauntlet movies, and that book was hitting highs of $70 raw. Now you can pick that book up. I looked on recent eBay sales, and people were buying this book for less than $40. So that might be a book that you may want to revisit because it may be in a dip right now, and it may make a resurgence or reappearance in the MCU. Just because they did this one storyline doesn't mean it might not tie back to a future storyline. Again, if you are looking to go down this route, another possibility is they could use the Hood. So Parker Robin's appearance in the Hood number 1 could be an option for you as a speculative book if you're going to kind of go this route of Secret Wars, because he does attempt to try to gather or recollect the stones in the storyline, and the Illuminati does try to stop him from doing so. So that might be something that they try to write into the story. So that could be an option for you there as well. So with that said, those are the top 5 plus 1 books for this week. Again, this is a new video series. Don't know, still kind of getting the legs for this, filling out how I want to do this. With that said, as always, thank you so very much. You're super awesome. You're the best. And bye.